Studio 31.
Local 3 News begins with your forecast first.
Hey there, I'm meteorologist Tom Kippen. Here's what to know. It is going to be windy out there for the rest of the night, and we're also going to start to see some snow move into upper Michigan. Coming up after this round of snow, we got more cold on the way, along with some lake effect snow. And we'll talk about that coming up here in just a bit. From Storm Team 3, that's your forecast first. WJMN Local 3 News starts right now.
Coming up tonight on Local 3 News, a UP stop for the Lieutenant Governor. And people from all over will be in Marquette County this weekend for the Nexstar Ski Marathon. Plus a winter fun contest. All that and more ahead tonight on Local 3 News.
From the WJMN studio in Marquette, this is Local 3 News at 10.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us for Local 3 News. I'm Rebecca Bartelme. Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist has been making his rounds in the Upper Peninsula. He stopped by one UP small business and got to partake in one of every Uper's favorite winter pastimes.
While on his trip above the bridge, Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist stopped by one of the Upper Peninsula's hottest tourist spots, using this time to see the businesses that thrive off of tourism.
Certainly. So, the state of Michigan has really been unique in how we have an office to support outdoor recreational activities. And this all ties in with our work with the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, but also with something new that we've created called the Office of Rural Development. We really want to make sure that there are resources to support ingenuitive people and entrepreneurs of all shapes and sizes who are doing amazing things in rural Michigan that really give these communities this lifeblood and identity, create jobs and opportunities for people. And so we want folks to know if you have an idea in rural Michigan, the state of Michigan is going to be a good partner to support you.
One of those businesses being a true UP staple, Iverson Outdoors. They've been lacing up snowshoes in the Upper Peninsula since the 1950s. And co-owner Jim Baker says,
yeah, it's great. The state needs a diversity of businesses. We need big businesses, small businesses. It's nice to see that even though small businesses don't really have as much of an impact as the major employers do, that we get some attention and we're recognized for the value that we contribute to the economy.
Still in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, Lieutenant Governor Gilchrist wanted to see how Michigan can support small businesses all across the state.
Well, throughout the pandemic, we've been doing our best to support small businesses. With the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, we created 23 different programs to support 25,000 small businesses and protect about 200,000 jobs. And those programs are continuing to leverage the federal resources to support small businesses. And there's more programs that I know we're looking to create. We're going to use federal resources to use those dollars to get them into the hands of people who need them so they can keep people employed, keep their doors open, that they can open safely so that people who are coming to work have the peace of mind to be safe, people who are their consumers have peace of mind to be safe. And hopefully we're going to continue to build on the momentum for tourism that the Upper Peninsula, Northern Michigan has seen during the pandemic. Munising has had a record number of visitors coming up here, 1.5 million people, for example. We hope to see that continue to grow.
The Lieutenant Governor even strapped on a pair of snowshoes to take them for a test spin.
He did a great job. He didn't fall down. So he seemed like a natural. We got him on a pair of shoes. Some people tend to be a little intimidated by walking with these big things on their feet, but he just hopped on and took off, did a great job.
Reporting in Munising, Haley Schoengart, Local 3 News.
The Nexstar Ski Marathon returns to the region this weekend. Tonight we stopped at the Alqual Trails in Ishpeming for the Junior Noki. Here's Ben Raymond with a look at some of the excitement.
It's the start of an action-filled weekend in Marquette County, even if the wind and temperatures make you want to stay bundled up.
I'm trying not to hold my expectations too high just because it's so cold out, but I'm hoping to do pretty well because this is a good course for skiing.
Racers like Grace Rickauer know how to use the course to their advantage.
Just try and get warm on the uphills, and then on the downhills, just try and, protect yourself the best you can from the wind. Dress warm with windproof stuff. get some good gloves going.
Rick Hours, Ishpeming Ski Club teammate Lucy Ampey understands the challenge of tough winter conditions.
For some of us who have been doing it for a while, about 22 minutes or so, depending classic or skate and the conditions, of course. I have a feeling, for me at least, it's going to be a slower day just because I'm cold. And that definitely takes a toll on me.
Dozens of racers attack the course Friday afternoon.
You feel really stiff at first, and it's hard to, get that momentum.
And with years of experience between them, these competitors offered some advice for skiers just getting started.
For training, I would definitely say doing steep hills. There's one, we call it the 2-minute hill out here, and it's a killer. It is, I say it'd probably take me 3 minutes, 2 minutes for some people. Who knows how long it takes. It feels like about 12 minutes, but it just practice those steep uphills, and you got to get good at those and push through.
At the finish line of the Junior Noki in Ishpeming, Ben Raymond, Local 3 News.
The Nexstar Ski Marathon is tomorrow, and if you're in Marquette, be prepared for some street closures. Starting at 3 a.m. and lasting until 4:30 p.m., Hawley and Wright Street from Presque Isle Avenue to Lakeshore Boulevard are closed. Schneider Mill Court and Powder Mill Road will also be blocked off. If you're trying to access Lakeshore Boulevard, take Presque Isle Avenue south to Fair Avenue. Still to come tonight on Local 3 News, your full forecast with meteorologist Tom Kippen coming up later in the show. And in our special report, we'll take a look at a homemade Zamboni. Where there's a will, there's a way. Our sister station, Wood TV, tells us a lower Michigan neighborhood that has a unique bond is getting innovative.
After school or on the weekend, this frozen pond in Rockford is the place to be.
We're out every weekend, so we're just kind of the groundskeeper. I keep it, snow blow it 2 or 3 times a week, keep it smooth for the kids.
As smooth as Mother Nature will allow.
It's always been a little bumpy.
The bumpy problem had the dads of the neighborhood looking for a solution.
Tried a few things and doesn't always work.
But dads don't give up that easily.
Internet's a beautiful thing.
They turn to YouTube and they realize where there's a will, there's a way.
We saw a whole bunch of different designs and we kind of came together and said, you know what, we can pull all these different designs together and, come up with our own version that works perfect for, the resources we have here.
We know them as Zambonis, but the technical name is ice resurfacer, and that's now what Nick, Chad, and the boys have for their backyard pond.
Just like a heavy-duty cart from Harbor Freight, and then just wood and PVC that was laying around the house.
And an old beach towel. This one's from Nick's days studying abroad in Australia. An immersion heater heats the water just enough to make playing hockey and skating smooth sailing for the neighborhood.
I thought that's like an amazing idea. How did we never think of that?
The pond keeps 11-year-old Grace active.
I get to be able to be with my friends all weekend. It's so fun.
But the adults are getting in on the action too.
We got the fire pit set up here. We'll have some beverages. We'll have hot chocolate. And then, people just come out and have a good time all weekend long. So I'm glad it's in my backyard.
In Rockford.
This pond is the best in the world. In the world. But it's slippery.
Emily Linnert.
Your UP Community Forecast with meteorologist Tom Kippen when we come back in 2 minutes.
The UP's most accurate weatherman. Local 3 Chief Meteorologist Tom Kippen has your community forecasts.
County and Escanaba will see temperatures in the 70s for
weekdays at 6 and 11 on Local 3 News and online every day at upmatters.com. Storm Team 3 weather with Tom Kippen.
And welcome back to Local 3 News at 10 o'clock, 9 Central, our new time. I'm glad you're here. Becca's glad you're here. Jake's on his way here in just a bit. As we look at the wind advisory, that is going to continue through the next couple of hours here. And this is majority right along the Lake Superior shoreline for Marquette and Elgin counties. We got the wind going good here in Marquette Township. We can hear it overhead here at the WJMN Local 3 studios, and that's going to continue here as we go through the next couple of hours. Here's our current wind speeds. They're out of the south to southwest here, anywhere between 15 and 25 miles per hour, including 25 miles per hour for Newberry, 23 miles per hour for Sawyer International, and 21 miles per hour for Houghton. But we do have some good wind gusts, especially closer to Lake Superior. A 37 mile per hour wind gust for Munising at the 10 o'clock hour, 35 mile per hour wind gust for Sawyer Sawyer International, and a 38-mile-per-hour wind gust for Houghton. Today's highest wind gust so far, 40-mile-per-hour wind gust for Copper Harbor, 35-mile-per-hour wind gust for Sawyer International, 37-mile-per-hour wind gust for Munising, and a 33-mile-per-hour wind gust for Manistee and also Escanaba. So here's your future wind gust here as we go through the rest of the night here. The higher wind speeds, I think, are going to be the next couple of hours, and then towards sunrise, they should lighten up just a little bit, but we're going to keep some stronger wind gusts going through tomorrow morning and even into tomorrow afternoon. But as you can see, the wind gusts are still going to be on the stronger side, but by the afternoon hours, I think we're going to start to see some colder wind gusts here. And then as we get into Saturday night on into Sunday, well, the winds should begin to lighten on up. With a southerly wind, temperatures aren't falling much tonight, but it still feels cold out there. 23 currently Manistee, 24 Newberry, 10 above Sawyer International, 18 for Houghton, 12 degrees for Ironwood. Today's high temperatures today in the teens and 20s. Manistee, though, managed to get to 27 degrees, 24 for Newberry, 24 for Copper Harbor, and 20 for Houghton. Low temperatures this morning. Different story. Wow, was it a cold start, including Amasa, Michigan, 39 below zero, and that was the coldest spot this morning in the United States of America. 27 below for Land O'Lakes, Wisconsin, 25 below zero this morning for Iron Mountain, including 22 also for Escanaba, 19 for Sawyer International. Officially at the Weather Service in Negaunee Township, 17 was today's high, 16 the low temperature. Downtown Marquette at the U.S. Coast Guard, 19 was today's high, and 3 above zero was today's low. Local 3 radar network, we do have some snow trying to move on through, and you combine it with these winds, definitely we're going to have some lower visibility, and also these winds are blowing around some loose snow and creating some loose visibility as well. As we widen out the view here, you can see the snow moving from west to east. This isn't expected to amount to much as this moves on through the nighttime hours tonight, an inch or two, maybe 3 inches across parts of upper Michigan, and then we'll see some additional lake effect snow as we go into Saturday night on into Sunday. So here's our local 3 future weather. You can see as we go through the rest of the night, the snow is going to be moving from west to east. Some of that continues into tomorrow morning, and then it's lake effect snow Saturday night, Sunday, and also in the Sunday afternoon. More clouds on Sunday night, and we could see some snow as well. And then Monday, clouds, perhaps some snow, and then Monday late in the day on into Monday night, I think we're back to lake effect snow as more cold air moves back in. As for temperatures tonight, we're looking at temperatures not going far for your community, pretty much staying in the teens. But as we get into the late afternoon hours, that's when our next round of cold temperatures will be moving on through. 18 for Marquette tomorrow. 14 on Sunday. Lake effect snow during the day. A chance of snow Sunday night, and that snow chance continues into Monday, and then turning colder for Tuesday. For Escanaba and Gladstone, 20 degrees for Saturday, 15 for Sunday, 20 for Monday, and then 8 degrees for Tuesday. Becca, we'll send it back over to you.
Thank you, Tom. And check out this winter scene in Kitchity Kippy today. No matter the season or weather, it always leaves a pretty sight for people to enjoy. And up next on Local 3 News, it's sports with Jake Durant. Girls high school basketball highlights and scores coming up. That's next in sports. But first, a look at stocks of local interest.
Get more Local 3 News anytime at upmatters.com. The stories that matter to our community. Up-to-the-minute weather and the UP's deepest sports coverage. Local 3 and upmatters.com. Your stories, our community. Local 3 Sports with Jake Durant.
We had a high school basketball doubleheader in Negaunee. Both the girls and boys Westwood basketball teams made the short trip to Lakeview Gymnasium to face the Miners. The ladies took the court first. Negaunee's senior Alyssa Hill entered the game, closing in on 1,000 career points, looking to do that in front of her home crowd. We're going to pick this one up in the second quarter. Westwood looking for the trap. Ella Mason passes over to Summer Dudo. She nails the shot from just inside the 3. It's 22-12 Miners. Then it's Hill working hard down low. She gets the lay-in and inches with closer to 1,000. A bit later, Cooper Atkins with the drive and the beautiful spin move leading to the score. Negaunee up 33-13. Westwood's Natalie Profit doing her best to get the momentum going in her team's favor as she connects on the runner. Then it's Atkins once again for Negaunee. Profit's going to bite on the hesitation. Atkins takes the contact, powers it up and in. She gets the shot to go, plus the foul. Miners up big. Profit then with a nice step back three ball. She was trying her best to get the Patriots back into it. Then midway through the fourth quarter, Hill just 2 points away from 1K, and she is going to get it right there. The Miners celebrate the accomplishment and the win tonight as the Miners roll 68-37.
Okay, I didn't want to know how close I was, and then yesterday actually one of my friends let it slip, so I kind of knew, and I didn't really like knowing, but it was like, it was a balance between me trying not to take really stupid shots just because I knew I was getting closer, and me like still taking good shots to score. So I started crying. It was crazy, and everybody started running over to me, and I was a little worried that they weren't going to stop the game and we were going to have to get back on defense, so I was like a little worried, but then they did, so it felt good.
Congratulations to Alyssa for that amazing accomplishment. More girls basketball scores to pass along. Jenna Matson scored 20 to help lead Munising past Rapid River. Baraga topped Ontonagon 40-28. Escanaba defeated Bark River Harris 52-44. Kearney Nato wins big over Mid Peninsula 59-19. Hancock over Iron Mountain 55-25. Stay with us. We'll have boys highlights between Westwood and Negaunee coming up in Local 3 Sports in the next half hour. Let's go to the NHL. Red Wings hosting the Stars. East Grand Rapids native Luke Glendenny playing back in his home state tonight. Stars take the lead in the first period, but Robbie Fabry going to fake out the goalie to get the Red Wings on the board to tie it up at 1. The Stars take the lead back in the second, but it doesn't last long as Tyler Bertuzzi drops it to Huey Suter for the shot in the goal. Then Dylan Larkin with the incredible play as the puck sneaks past the goalie and the crossbar just moments later as the Wings take their first lead of the game, but the Wings would fall in overtime in this one 5-4. The Green Bay Packers have a lot on the line Saturday as they begin their playoff journey to finally get over the hump and bring that Lombardi trophy back to Titletown. Now, any way you slice it, this is a legacy game for the top-seeded Pack, and that includes Aaron Rodgers, likely on the cusp of winning his second straight MVP, but he has his eyes set on a more important accolade, a second Lombardi trophy. With this potentially being 12's final run with the Pack, he understands the importance of each win in the greater picture.
You know, I think success is often based, for quarterbacks on championships won a lot of times. I think success individually is much more than that. But I understand that in our business, so much of it is focused on the wins and losses, especially in the playoffs, Super Bowl rings and all that stuff. I understand that's part of my legacy I'll be judged on. I take a lot of pride in the success that we've had and that I've had, and I hope we can add to it, both from a how we're judged standpoint and how we judge ourselves standpoint.
Let's check in behind enemy lines. The 49ers held a walkthrough today at Bayport High School in Green Bay. Now, it was close to everyone outside the Niners organization, including the media, but a couple photos did make their way around Twitter. Defensive end Joey Boza has cleared concussion protocol in time for tomorrow's game. Both he and quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo are expected to play.
Thank you, Jake. When we come back, tips to stay safe on the ice this winter. It's cold outside, but Michigan DNR is reminding people that no ice is safe ice. Here are some tips to keep in mind this winter.
And with the cold comes great opportunities for winter fun. Before setting out across a frozen lake on your snow. And with the cold comes great opportunities for winter fun. Before setting out across a frozen lake on your snowmobile or strapping on your ice skates for a few laps around the backyard pond, just remember,
no ice is safe ice.
Lieutenant Gerald Thayer of the Michigan DNR Law Enforcement Division says there's things you can do to stay safe. Dress appropriately and bring an ice pick.
You use these things to crawl your way out of the ice, and these are very helpful.
Also, keep in mind, underwater currents, debris, and weather patterns can lead to areas of thin ice.
You really have to know the waterway that you plan to fish or snowmobile on before going out and know where those potential danger zones might be.
Slushy ice can be dangerous, as the ice beneath it is likely in a weakened state. Fresh snow can also lead to unsafe ice, since it can be heavy and act as an insulator for the layer of ice below.
The good solid ice is your clear, darker ice is typically your brand new ice is stronger than old ice that's been there for a while and has gone through weather patterns.
If you do happen to go through the ice, try not to panic.
Give yourself a minute to think and turn around, get back to the safe ice that you just came from, swim your way out. Once you get onto safe ice, don't stand up right away. If you stand up and put all your weight on those 2 feet that you have, there's a good chance you're going to fall through again.
Instead, keep your center of gravity spread across the ice by rolling away. Get to a warm place as soon as possible to avoid hypothermia. One of the best things you can do to protect yourself and have more fun is bring a friend.
Take a partner, use the buddy system. That's what we recommend.
We'll be back in 1 minute with more of today's news, weather, and sports, including a look into this year's March for Life in Washington, D.C.
Right now, Local 3 News begins with your forecast first.
Hey, I'm meteorologist Tom Kippen. We got some good winds out there at the 10:30, 9:30 Central Time hour here, with winds anywhere between 15 and 25 miles per hour, and they're gusting over 30 miles per hour closer to the Lake Superior shoreline. As we look at our Local 3 radar network, we also have some snow moving on through, and that could lower the visibility when you combine that with the wind. More weather coming up here in just a bit, including your next 7 days for Marquette and Escanaba. We'll send it back over to Becca now.
From the WJMN studio in Marquette, this is Local 3 News at 10.
Welcome back to Local 3 News. I'm Rebecca Bartelme. 2 suspects from Marquette County have been arrested related to the delivery of crystal meth. According to Upset detectives, they obtained information over the last month that 2 people were suspected of traveling to Wisconsin to retrieve large amounts of crystal meth, then returning to Marquette County. During a traffic stop at Delta County, the suspects were found. A 29-year-old Marquette man was driving the car, and a 29-year-old Marquette woman was riding passenger. Both were arrested when troopers located about 110 grams of crystal meth in the vehicle. They were lodged at the Marquette County Jail.
From the WJMN studio in Marquette, this is Local 3 News.
Due to the recent COVID surge, Gwinn area community schools are going virtual this week. The schools said on their Facebook page that they've seen a steady decline in attendance this past week, with an anticipation of continued cases going up through the weekend. Thousands marched to the Supreme Court today for the annual March for Life rally. Hannah Brandt reports from Washington that this year, marchers have a renewed optimism for the pro-life movement.
Even with temperatures in the teens, thousands of people crowded onto the National Mall.
We believe that abortion is wrong and that everyone deserves a chance to live.
Ralliers came from all over the country to advocate against abortion.
It's super empowering to see everybody be here for the same reason.
This is the 49th March for Life, held every year since abortion was legalized in 1973.
I've been probably on a couple dozen marches.
For a lot of the pro-life marchers, this year feels different because they believe a conservative Supreme Court may be ready to overturn Roe v. Wade.
We are hoping and praying that this year, 2022, will bring a historic change for life.
The justices are currently considering a Mississippi law that bans abortion after 15 weeks.
Pretty confident that we might, in generations, for the first time, see the scourge of abortion leave.
The court's anticipated ruling could let other states set much more restrictive laws.
States should have the fundamental right to determine what's best for the people of their state.
But more than a legal ruling, some marchers say they want to see a change in the culture.
You might have the right to do that in terms of a law providing you that opportunity, but I believe we should just not have anyone choosing that option.
A decision from the court is expected around June. In Washington, I'm Hannah Brandt.
A contest is underway for snow artists in 4 UP counties. Habitat for Humanity Hiawatha Land is holding its 2nd annual snow sculpture contest from now until February 14th. The contest is open to both individuals and groups in the Habitat for Humanity Hiawatha Land service area of Alger, Luce, Schoolcraft, and West Mackinac counties, with all proceeds going back into the community.
We are recently finishing up a home for a family who will be moving in next week, and this summer we'll be doing home repairs, exterior home repairs for people in our service area. And the funds from the snow sculpture contest will be used for those home repair projects. So all of the money that we receive is going for a good cause and staying in our communities.
Registration per sculpture will cost $25. Voting will take place from February 14th through the 28th, with prizes for 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and People's Choice. You can find full contest details on our website, upmatters.com. And we are 1 week away from the Hanky Luta Winter Festival in downtown Negaunee. Next week, join us every night as we highlight the events that will be featured in the festival. On Monday, I'll show you a look into what a rail jam is all about. On Tuesday, Brianna McLean will take us luging. Tor Thorne experiences fat tire biking on Wednesday. Haley Schoengart is strapping on the snowshoes for us on Thursday. And Friday night, we'll be live from the festival. Still to come tonight at Local 3 News, your full forecast with meteorologist Tom Kippen later in the show. And up next is our Health Watch report, knowing where you need to go when you need medical care. In our Health Watch report, the current surge in COVID-19 has emergency rooms flooded and healthcare workers overwhelmed. Local 3's Connie Fellman shows us that knowing where to go for what kind of care can help everyone get the right care at the right place at the right time.
With the ever-changing COVID situation, the testing process can be confusing and, let's face it, frustrating at times. So we talked to some local healthcare providers to help us sort out when to use urgent care, when you should go to the ER, and why using emergency services for your own convenience is making the whole problem worse for everyone.
COVID-19 has been a significant cause for these visits, and our positive results have been up about 5 times what we've been seeing prior to the last 2 weeks.
Like healthcare workers everywhere, Dr. Nels Rose has seen the COVID surge firsthand.
We've definitely seen about a 20 to 30% uptick over the last 2 weeks.
Nels is an emergency medicine physician for Aurora Baycare Medical Center, working at the urgent care facility in Kokona.
Urgent care, is, again, we take care of typical non-life-threatening symptoms, the coughs, colds, the congestion.
Nels says urgent care is one of many options patients have to get tested for COVID-19.
There are many community sites that offer free or low-cost testing in the area.
But if all you need is a COVID test, going to an emergency room will not only be more expensive, doctors say other patients and healthcare workers may end up paying a high price too.
With the recent spike in COVID, emergency departments are just overwhelmed. And it's creating throughput issues and long wait times and lack of resources that could otherwise be directed to the more emergent patient.
Dr. Ryan Murphy is an emergency medicine physician with Aurora Baycare. He says you should get to the ER if you have trauma like a broken bone, trouble breathing, severe chest pain, sudden trouble walking, facial droops, or slurred speech. A good rule of thumb?
Trust your gut. And if you think this is really an emergency that you need to be seen right now, and go to the emergency department. We'll be happy to see you and evaluate you.
Options like virtual visits and self-assessment tools on the LiveWell app can also point patients in the right direction. But both doctors we talk to say the goal is getting patients the right care at the right place and at the right time, with the key word being care, no matter where a patient shows up.
We evaluate anybody that comes to the emergency department. We turn nobody away.
Another thing to remember, doctors say if you get tested too early after being exposed to someone with COVID, you could end up with a false negative and continue spreading the virus without knowing you have it. And that's your Health Watch. I'm Connie Fellman, Local 3 News.
What's in store for the weekend with meteorologist Tom Kippen when we come back in 2 minutes.
Local 3 News is sponsored by Menards. Save big money at Menards. Storm Team 3 weather with Tom Kippen.
I don't know if you can really see it on the NME webcam, but is it windy out there? I can hear it.
Yeah, we can hear it here at the Local 3 studios, and I've been watching the light poles, seeing if they're swaying back and forth, and they're not even swaying back and forth here. It's bouncing around a little bit, but definitely we got some good gusty winds out of the south tonight. Now, it does feel cold out there, but it's actually keeping temperatures from really falling off, unlike they did last night. We had below zero lows, and in fact, in some parts of the UP, well below zero lows. And in fact, in upper Michigan last night, we had one of the coldest spots in the United States of America, the lower 48, not including Alaska, obviously. But check this out on our 906 Weather Watchers page, and the National Weather Service in Negaunee Township posted this, and they said overall it was the coldest morning of the winter season so far. But look at Amasa. They had a low temperature this morning, Becca, of 39 below zero. So not only was that the coldest spot here in upper Michigan, it was the coldest spot in the lower 48, lower 48, let's call it, of the United States here. So I guess we get the cold prize for our Friday morning here. So let's take a look at some other 906 Weather Watcher photos here. Patty Layton Scandia, she said winter wonderland. I hope she waited till the afternoon to get out there and take these beautiful winter weather photos, because if she waited, or excuse me, if she got going in the morning hours, definitely it would have been a cold walk. Thanks, Patty, for sending those in. Joe Neuenbauer, a beautiful sunset over the ice fishermen over Ludington Park in Escanaba. Here you can see the ice fishermen there. And just be careful when you get these higher winds. Sometimes they can shift the ice around. So just, not saying don't go ice fishing, but just be aware. And like we always say, no ice is safe ice here, and especially with these stronger winds. So might shift the ice around a little bit, but just be careful if you're going out there. Now, don't go on any near-shore ice on Lake Superior, because with that south wind, there's a chance that might blow out into the open waters. But look at this, just a beautiful sunset there. Thanks, Joe, for sending that in. And then as I think we have time for two more. How about that? All right. Northern Michigan University. Now, this only happens twice a year, where the sun rises through the center of Marquette's Oradoc here. Northern Michigan University posted this here, and the next time it'll do it is in the month of November. So just a spectacular early morning photo when the sun came up right before 8:30. And then Rick from Garden Corners sent this in here. Morning temperature when he looked at his weather station. I'll expand this out here. Look at this. 21 below zero, almost 22 below zero. So definitely a cold morning across upper Michigan. Then I think we got time for one more here. Kevin Westwood, beautiful sunrise, but it was cold, 7 below zero. So if you'd like to join our 906 Weather Watchers page, we'd love to have you. Join us on Facebook, search, feel free to join us. Beck and I would love to stand here and share you the beautiful photos across upper Michigan. So we're going to go from our 906 Weather Watchers photos to our weather computer here, and we'll fire that up. Big game tomorrow, Becca. Check this out. 49ers versus Packers, NFC Divisional Round 2. It's a night game tomorrow, and it's going to be cold. I already got the layers getting packed up in my kitchen, ready to go to this game tomorrow. So it is going to be one of those games where you're definitely going to have to dress warm. We'll have kickoff temperatures in the teens. We'll be right around 10 above at halftime. I think by the time the end of the game hits, it's going to be in the single digits with wind chills below zero. So go Pack Go. Hopefully we can make it to the NFC Championship for the 3rd year in a row. Local 3 radar network here. We do have some snow moving from west to east across upper Michigan. And you combine it with these wind, or these stronger gustier winds, that is, it could reduce the visibility. Also reducing the visibility with these strong winds is the ground snow. Sometimes the stronger winds can loosen up the snow and blow that snow around. So just be careful. You might encounter some reduced visibility spots as we go through the rest of the night across the UP. So here's your snow moving on through here as we go through tonight into tomorrow morning. Second half of the weekend, though, it is lake effect snow, especially as you go east of Marquette. Sunday night, the clouds pick up the pace, more snow moves on in, and then I think as we get to late in the day Monday, we see it go back to lake effect snow as another round of colder Arctic-like temperatures move on in. Future snowfall for the rest of the night into tomorrow morning into the early afternoon. Generally, we're looking at about 1 to 3 inches of snow, and then east of Marquette and also in the Copper Country, we'll add on a little bit more lake effect snow for the second half of the weekend. Wind speeds right now, they're still gusty out there. South to southwest wind, 15 to 25 miles per hour with gusts at or over 30 miles per hour. We have a 37 mile per hour wind gust for Munising, 30 mile per hour wind gust for Houghton, also 30 mile per hour wind gust for Copper Harbor, 30 mile per hour wind gust for Newberry. And we continue with a wind advisory for Elger and and Marquette counties here, and that's going to run for a couple more hours. As we look at our future wind gusts here, as we go through the rest of the night here, we'll have some gusts perhaps over 40 miles per hour for the next couple of hours, and then gusty winds continue into tomorrow, but by late tomorrow afternoon, that wind will be a colder wind. Temperatures right now with that good southerly wind, it's not allowing temperatures to fall far, and as we look at our temperature forecast for the rest of the night, they're pretty much going to stay right where they're at in the teens. Quick look at your Marquette extended forecast. 18 for your Saturday, 14 for your Sunday. Definitely cold out there, and a cold winter-like extended forecast for Escanaba with some snow tonight and tomorrow, and then once again on Monday. Becca, we'll send it back over to you.
Thank you, Tom. Up next on Local 3 News, sports with Jake Durant. The Red Wings were in action tonight against the Dallas Stars. Highlights of that and more next in sports. But first, a look at stocks of local interest at today's report on precious metals.
Local 3 Sports with Jake Durant.
Tonight in boys hoops, the Negaunee Miners welcome in the 7-1 Westwood Patriots. These two teams know each other very well. Let's go to Lakeview Gymnasium for the game between the Patriots and Miners. Early in the first quarter, Jackson Gladwell going to rifle it to Jace Turry. He's going to lay it in to make it 4-0 Miners. Then it's Brody Bell driving into the lane. He floats it up and in. Later off the inbounds, Nicholas Salzwedel rises up for 2. It's 11-5 Negaunee. Then Gerald Johnson attracts a crowd and finds Bell for the easy lay-in. And then it's Zach Beckman driving baseline. He's going to power it up and in to make it 16-10 Miners. Gavin Jacobson going to be left all alone under the basket here, and that is too easy. The Miners top the Patriots 51-43. Brody Bell led the Miners with 15 points. A couple more boys hoop scores for you. The Menominee Maroons crushed the North Central Jets' perfect season dreams. They topped the Jets 49-38. And Forest Park topped West Iron County 59-39. Let's go to the NHL. The Red Wings hosting the Stars, and East Grand Rapids native Luke Glendenning playing back in his home state tonight. Stars take the lead in the first period, but Robbie Fabry going to fake out the goalie to get the Red Wings on the board. We're tied up at 1. The Stars take the lead back in the second, but it doesn't last long. Tyler Bertuzzi going to drop it to Puce Suter for the shot and the goal. Then Dylan Larkin with the incredible play as the puck's going to sneak past the goalie in the crossbar. And then just moments later as the Wings take their first lead of the game. But unfortunately, the Wings would fall in this one in overtime 5-4. The Green Bay Packers have a lot on the line this Saturday as they begin their playoff journey to finally get over the hump and bring that Lombardi Trophy back to Titletown. Any way you slice it, this is a legacy game for the top-seeded Packers, and that includes Aaron Rodgers, likely on the cusp of winning his second straight MVP, but he has his sights set on a more important accolade, a second Lombardi Trophy. With this potentially being 12's final run with the Pack, he understands the importance of each win in the greater picture.
You know, I think success is often based, for quarterbacks on championships won a lot of times. I think success individually is much more than that. But I understand that in our business, so much of it is focused on the wins and losses, especially in the playoffs, Super Bowl rings and all that stuff. I understand that's part of my legacy I'll be judged on. I take a lot of pride in the success that we've had and that I've had, and I hope we can add to it, both from a how we're judged standpoint and how we judge ourselves standpoint.
The Packers have activated linebackers Zadarius Smith and Whitney Merciless off the injured reserve list, meaning that they will play tomorrow night in the Packers divisional round against the 49ers. Now the question is, how much will they play? Packers head coach Matt LaFleur said yesterday that he hoped both would be returning, and if they did, they would ease them into the game and have a pitch count for snaps. But just having both back on the field should certainly be a boost emotionally for the Pack. And checking in behind enemy lines, the San Francisco 49ers held a walkthrough today at Bayport High School in Green Bay. Now, it was close to everyone outside the Niners organization, including the media, but a couple photos did make their way around Twitter. Defensive end Joey Bosa has cleared concussion protocol in time for tomorrow's game, and both he and quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo are expected to play.
Now, Jake, I'm sure it was cold for them out there today.
Yeah, you can see them outside trying to get used to the temperature. I read a stat earlier in the week. It said that Jimmy Garoppolo never started a football game under 40 degrees. And it's supposed to be, I think, in the early or the single digits to low teens tomorrow night. So it should be interesting to see how he reacts to that cold weather. It's definitely prime for the Pack to hopefully go in there and get that win at home against Lambeau. If they don't and the Niners do win, I think that could be a disappointing season for the Packers and a really bad ending.
Sounds good. We'll have to get Tom Kippen's take after the break. Yes. Stay with us and we'll be right back.
And welcome back to Local 3 News. Last check of weather here as we look at our Saturday forecast. We'll have some snow, highs in the teens and 20s, but as we get throughout the afternoon hours, it's going to start to turn colder from west to east across upper Michigan. A cold night Saturday night, and then we'll have some lake effect snow showers as we go into Sunday. Highs across upper Michigan, single digits and teens, and then as we get to Saturday night on into Sunday, look for wind chills to be at or below zero. Weather anytime if you're on the go this weekend. Download our free WJMN Local 3 app, also online at upmatters.com. And we're on Facebook as well at WJMN-TV. And also check out our 906 Weather Watchers page. Becca, back to you.
Thank you, Tom, and thank you for joining us. Have a good weekend.